In this video, we're going to start entering some data into our sheet and then do some basic formulas. And then finally finish up with making some charts that represent the data from the information provided on the sheet. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add student names. So let's just make up some names that we'll add into row 5. This is the continuation from our first video. So we're going to double click and we will add a name. There we go. I'm going to spell Lionel. Lionel. I apologize to my Commodore fans out there. Lionel Richie. And then let's go Benatar. And then finally, we'll go a little bit newer. No, we won't. We'll stay with Sammy Hagar. We are staying in the 70s and 80s, as you can tell. And then we'll finish with John Elton. So I've got 5 people. I have 5 students in my class, right? So I have Diamond, I have Richie, Benatar, Hagar, and John. If I wanted these alphabetized, could I do that? Could I highlight these range of cells by clicking and dragging over A5 through A9? And can I arrange the data A to Z? So I could sort my range from A to Z. Look at that. It did it. So one more time, I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to highlight my range of cells. And I'm going to go to data. And I want to do it by range of cells. And automatically it did it. Okay, and let's give them scores for the class. Okay, let's say everybody made pretty good on this one. Oops. So you see what we're doing. We're adding grades. And let's say everybody made a 90. This is pretty neat. If you click off and you go back into the score here, and everybody had a 90, you could go to the bottom right corner where the little crosshair is and click and drag, and it would replicate this right in there. Now that's if everybody had the same grade. Let's say Lionel Richie had a 95. You'd have to click in here and change that to a 95. So that's pretty neat, right? So those are my grades so far. Now, how would we take this and determine their averages? So what I want to do is I'm going to go over one more here, okay, and put in averages. This would be their averages. Now here, I could put in this would be for assignment averages. This is the average score from all of the participants, and this would be nice to see how they made as a group, and this is how they're going to have individual. Now, if you wanted to put a comment in here to tell yourself this is for individual averages, this is everybody's individual average, you could insert a comment. So how would you do that? You'd go to insert, and you'd go to comment. Control Alternate M would also give you this, but it gives you a flyout. And from here, say, this will have their individual averages. Comment. Now, when you click off of it, it disappears and it gives you like a little yellow arrow here at the top, which if you roll over on it, it will give you a little help box and it will tell you what's there. Now, if you click in it, it will let you be able to resolve it. And if you wanted to go and edit and you spelled something wrong, you can click on edit. So you see that it's pretty friendly. Okay. So now let's do the average. Now there are several ways to do an average, and some people are like, oh, I haven't done this in years. It's not bad, but you click in the cell where the resultant will be. And in this case, Pat Benatar has 5 grades, right? And they range from B5 all the way to F5, B5 to F5. So I'm going to click here. And so what I need to do is there's several ways. Okay, the first way, and probably the easiest, is to use this symbol right here, the function symbol. And if you click on it, it will let you choose 5 popular functions, very similar to your other spreadsheet program we've used in the past. But if you wanted to do a sum, it would add them all up. If you want to do an average, which is what we're wanting, you would click here. If you wanted to count, it would be the number of individual grades they have. Max would be the highest, min would be the lowest. So we'll go to average. And when I click on it, look what it did. It put the words equal, average, open quotation marks. So now I could click on 92, which is B5. And if I hold down my normal clicker and drag it across, it will highlight the range of cells. So B5, right, colon F5. That's letting you know that the average is going to be B5 to F5. And when I hit enter, there's your average. Let's do that again. We're going to go to the function button, to average. And now if we click and drag backwards, will it be the same thing? It did it. Look, it went from B6 to F6. Even though I started on F6, it knew what it was wanting to do. So if I hit enter, it made my average, and that is correct. Now, if you've done this correctly, if you double click in it, look what it does. It will highlight and it color codes that you have an average and you have B6 to F6, right? Now, to get out of it, what do? If you're in where you're making a function or a formula here, you hit escape. Now, if I wanted to copy this formula and put it in here, you know what I'd do? I would go to the right corner and I would drag it down as many times as I need. Look at there. It did my average from 89.6, 88.46, and 90.6. Now, why is that there? Well, that's pretty easy. There's nothing here for it to do a division by. So that's why you have the 0, right? It's an invalid function. So you would just click on it and you would hit delete. Okay. Well, let's try this. This time we're going to do the average for everybody on the first test. Okay. We could go to the function button. We can go to average. And then we can highlight the range of cells. You hit enter. There's your average score on this test. I could click in it and I can go to the bottom right corner and I could drag it across. See what it did? Now there are other ways to do this. I'm going to undo it. We could physically write the formula itself. We could start with the equal sign. And look, it even wants to help you, and it's going to give you the right answer. But if you physically were stubborn and you wanted to write it yourself, you could do that. You could actually write B5 colon all the way to B9. You could physically write this yourself and hit enter. And then you could copy these over. Now, if you wanted to center all this and make this blue as well, you could. You could highlight the range of cells, go to the bucket, right? Find our blue, right? I could go back and merge these by adding the G in the range and then going to merge the cells. See how I moved it over? I could do the same again. G is not included because we added this. I could highlight the range. And now I can just use the merge cell. And then let's say this is very important. I can take this information, highlight it, and make it a special color. I can go to the bucket and make it a soft yellow. And I can do the same here with the averages. See, looks very nice, doesn't it? Now remember, these are predisposed averages that you put in here. check this out. Let's say that Pat Benatar's grade was a 95. If I go back and change this, watch what happens to the average, the assignment average, right? And then the overall average. All of it will change. If I change it to a 95, well, check this out. Look at there. Changed it here, changed it here, changed it there. So everything is connected. So that is how you would start making your first functions or your first formulas in a spreadsheet.